Welcome back to HQ Infinite Stories, where every heartbeat tells a tale that could change the way you see love, life, and destiny. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and join our family of story lovers because today's story will take you on an emotional roller coaster you'll never forget. It all began on a foggy Monday morning. In the bustling city of New Crest, the streets were wet from the night rain, and traffic lights reflected across the asphalt like tiny stars scattered in puddles. A single dad named Ethan Cole sat behind the wheel of his cab, sipping lukewarm coffee, waiting for his next ride request. He was in his early 30s, tall but worn by life, with tired eyes that carried both love and struggle. Ethan wasn't just a driver. He was a father trying to build a better life for his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Every morning before school, Lily would hug him tightly and whisper, "Drive safe, Daddy." That simple sentence kept him going, even on days when life seemed impossible. That morning, his phone buzzed, a high-priority pickup from the Grand Royale Hotel. The name flashed on his screen. C. Morgan. He didn't know it yet, but that ride would change his entire life. Ethan pulled up to the marble-lined entrance of the luxurious hotel. Out came a young woman dressed in an elegant white coat, her hair perfectly styled, her heels clicking softly against the pavement. Her name was Clara Morgan, heiress to the Morgan Industries fortune, a billion-dollar empire that touched everything from real estate to technology. But beneath her calm smile, Clara was anything but happy. She had just run out of a high-society engagement meeting. Her family wanted her to marry a man she didn't love. The pressure of wealth, the expectations, the fake smiles, it all suffocated her. And so, for the first time in her life, she wanted to disappear. Even if just for a few hours, she climbed into the back seat and said softly, "Just drive. I don't care where. I just need to get away." Ethan glanced at her through the mirror, sensing the tremor in her voice. Without asking another question, he nodded and drove off into the gray morning. They drove for nearly an hour in silence. The city faded into countryside, and Clara finally spoke. "You have a quiet car," she said faintly. Ethan smiled. "Quiet cars are good for thinking?" She looked at him curiously. "And what do you think about, Mr. Driver?" "Mostly how to make my daughter's life better," he replied. "I'm a single dad. My world begins and ends with her." Something in that answer disarmed Clara. For years, she had been surrounded by people who wanted something from her: money, power, influence, but not this man. His voice was calm, grounded, real. They drove through a mountain road. The rain returned, heavier this time. The road curved sharply ahead, and visibility dropped to almost nothing. Ethan slowed down, squinting through the windshield. That's when it happened. A truck came hurtling around the bend, its brakes screeching, spinning wildly across the slick road. Ethan had less than 2 seconds to react. He slammed the brakes and swerved to the right, but the car skidded. The impact was inevitable. Clara screamed, and in that split second the airbags failed to deploy. The world spun in chaos. Ethan turned, grabbed Clara's face, and pressed his lips against hers, sealing her breath just as the shattered windshield sent glass flying. When the car came to a stop, silence filled the air. The truck had missed them by inches, but debris had shattered the window. Clara's pulse was racing. Ethan had shielded her, his arm still around her shoulders. For a long moment, they just stared at each other, shocked, breathless. "Alive? Why did you—" she began, trembling. Ethan wiped the blood from his cheek. "You weren't breathing. The dust, the shock, I had to clear your airway. It was the only way I could save you." Clara blinked, speechless. No one had ever risked their life for her before. Not her security team. Not her so-called fiancé. But this stranger, this single father, had done it. Without hesitation, he drove her to the nearest clinic to make sure she was fine. As the doctor examined her, she couldn't stop glancing at him. The way he spoke gently to the nurse, the way he refused treatment until she was safe, it stirred something deep inside her. After the doctor cleared them both, Clara stepped outside, her voice softer than before. "Thank you for saving my life." Ethan shrugged modestly. "Just doing what anyone would do." Not everyone would, she replied. Trust me. She asked if she could treat him to lunch as a thank you, but Ethan politely declined. I have to pick up my daughter from school, he said with a small smile that made her even more curious. A billionaire heiress, used to people begging for her time, now found herself chasing after a cab driver who didn't even want her gratitude the next day. As Ethan waited at Lily's school gate, a black limousine pulled up. Clara stepped out, holding a small bouquet of flowers. Lily's eyes widened. Daddy, is that a princess? Ethan chuckled nervously. Something like that. Clara knelt down to Lily's height. Hi, I'm Clara. These are for you. Lily's face lit up. Thank you, miss. Daddy said he saved someone yesterday. Was that you? Clara smiled warmly. Yes, it was. And I think he's the bravest man I've ever met. From that day forward, Clara began spending more time with Ethan and Lily. She joined them for picnics, helped Lily with homework, and learned to live a life without luxury, a life filled with laughter, small joys, and genuine warmth. Ethan tried to keep his distance at first. He knew their worlds were different. But love, once it finds its way into two hearts, doesn't care about bank accounts or social class. One evening, after a long day, Clara found Ethan fixing his old car in the driveway. You never asked me why I was running away that day, she said quietly. He looked up, his hands covered in grease. Didn't think it was my place. She stepped closer. My family wanted me to marry someone I didn't love. They thought business mattered more than happiness. But when you pulled me out of that car, I realized something. I've been alive for years, but I wasn't really living. Ethan froze. Clara, you deserve someone from your world. I'm just, you're the man who saved me when no one else would, she interrupted. And you made me feel human again. He didn't know what to say. Words failed, but his eyes said everything. Weeks turned into months. And rumors began spreading in Clara's circles, the billionaire heiress scene with a taxi driver and his little girl. The press hunted her for statements, but she ignored them all. Then, one morning, Ethan received an unexpected call. Lily had fallen sick, a severe infection that required expensive treatment. He was desperate. He worked extra shifts, skipped meals, and sold what little he owned. But it wasn't enough. When Clara found out, she immediately offered to cover every expense. But Ethan refused. I can't let you do that. I don't want your pity. Tears welled in her eyes. It's not pity, Ethan, it's love. He didn't respond, but when he saw Lily recovering in the hospital, he realized that pride means nothing when someone's life is on the line. When Lily woke up days later, her first words were, Daddy, did the princess help us? Ethan smiled weakly. Yeah, sweetheart. She did? Clara was there every single day, reading stories to Lily, holding her hand, making her laugh. Through those long nights in the hospital, something unbreakable formed between them. Not just love, but a family. When Lily was discharged, Ethan knew what he had to do. He found Clara standing by the riverbank near the hospital, her hair dancing in the wind. You gave me everything I didn't know I needed, he said quietly. But I can't let you give up your world for me. Clara turned, tears glistening. Ethan, my world was empty before you. You and Lily are the first real thing I've ever had. I don't care about the headlines or the money. I care about us. He took a deep breath, heart pounding. And what if I can't give you the life you're used to? She smiled softly. Then give me the life I've never had. In that moment, the air between them melted into something pure and infinite. Ethan stepped closer, and for the second time, their lips met, not out of fear this time, but out of love. Months later, the news broke everywhere. The billionaire heiress who gave up her inheritance to marry a humble single dad. People called it madness, a fairy tale, a scandal. But to Ethan, it was just life finally giving him back what it had taken away. Years passed. Ethan opened his own small car company with Clara as his partner and Lily as their light. Together, they built something more valuable than money, a home filled with laughter, courage, and second chances, sometimes. When Lily asked about the day they met, Ethan would smile and say, it all started with a kiss. But not just any kiss, one that saved 2 lives instead of 1. Because sometimes the universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you need, disguised as chaos, wrapped in destiny, and sealed with love, and that's the magic of life, the way. One moment can change everything forever. Thanks for watching HQ Infinite Stories, where real hearts, real emotions, and real stories come alive. If you felt something today, hit that like button, share this story, and subscribe for more unforgettable tales. Until next time, keep believing, because your story might just be the next one we tell.